Hi teacher, hi everyone, welcome to our video, and today we're going to talk about homonyms and acronyms. These are two interesting parts of English that can be confusing but also fun to learn. And by understanding them, you will improve your vocabulary and avoid common mistakes. So let's begin with homonyms. In this case, homonyms are words that look or sound the same, but they have different meanings. So for example, bat in this case can mean a flying animal or can be an object used in baseball. Then we have there are two main types of homonyms. First, we have the homophones that are words that sound the same but have different spellings and meanings. Examples can be like two, two, or maybe C or Z. Also, we have homograph. In this case, are the same spelling but different meaning. Um, in this case, examples can be lead of guide on or lead of metal. And then we have common mistakes that we can do or in homophones. In this case, a common mistake for English learners is mixing them up when we write. So, for example, sometimes we say, I have two dogs instead of I have two dogs. So, let's say it sounds identical, but the spelling changed totally the meaning. Then we have homographs. In this case, words that look the same, but they have different meanings and sometimes even different pronunciation. For example, in this case, we have lead, like I said before, lead to guide versus lead to metal. Or maybe wind of air and wind to turn. And so in this case, many students pronounce them the same way by mistake. So for example, saying wine when they mean wine up to the toy, let's say for example. So it's important that always check both pronunciation and meaning to avoid to make confusion or maybe to confuse someone. And then, well, in summary, we have that homophones have the same sound but different spelling, but homographs have same spelling but a different meaning. And in this case, both belong to the group of homonyms. And in this case, it's important that they can look or sound the same but mean something different. And well, now my partners will continue with the presentation.
An acronym is a word from the first letters or several words, and we pronounce it a single new word. For example, NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. UNICEF, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. You probably say these words every day without realizing they come from longer names. Okay, now I am going to explain the difference between acronyms and abbreviations. An abbreviation is just a short form of a word or phrase. They are the examples. We usually read them letter by letter or as a part of the original word. An acronym, on the other hand, is formed from the first letters of several words and pronounced as the single word. For example, NASA or UNESCO. So, the main difference is that abbreviations are shortened forms, but acronyms become a new word.
Let's review everything we're learned today. We start with homonyms, which are words that look or sound the same, but mean different things. They can be a little tricky, but now we know there are two main types. Homophones, words that sound the same but are spelled differently, like two, and two. Homographs, words that are spelled the same but have different meanings, like lead to guide, the gate, and lead the metal. These examples show us how flexible English can be sometimes when a small change in spelling or pronunciation creates a completely new meaning. Then we learn about acronyms, which are made from the first letters of several words and form a new word we can easily pronounce, like NASA, UNICEF, or UNESCO. They're everywhere in daily life, especially in technology, education, and organization. In fact, you probably use acronym every day without noticing. Now let's check how much you remember with a quick mini quiz. The first question, what does FIFA stand for? The second question, can you give one pair of honeymoons? The third question, is doctor an acronym or abbreviation? Take a second to think about it. Great job if you got them all right. Learning about homonyms and acronyms help us understand English in a deeper way. It's not just about memorizing words, it's about recognizing how meaning works and how English keeps changing and adapting. Thanks for watching.